What's up, everybody? So the new scrapyard's officially been open for about 3 months. It's currently June 2022. I just want to take you guys on a quick tour and give you some updates and talk about how things have been going. Let's take a quick look around. So I'm recording this on a beautiful Saturday afternoon while we're closed, so there's currently nobody here and there won't be any machines moving or anything like that. But basically we just came through the main gate, which is where you would come if you were to deliver a load of scrap here, and you'd pull up onto the truck scale where the scale operator would record your weight before going out onto the yard to be unloaded. So basically all the scrap when entering the yard goes to the left, both the ferrous and the non-ferrous, unless you have an automobile. If you've got a vehicle, we take those down to the right side of the yard where we further process them by draining all of the fluids, removing batteries, etc. And then we decide whether we're going to save those vehicles for a future parts yard, hopefully in a few months, or we go ahead and crush them and send them to the shredder. But all the rest of the scrap goes down here to the left, and this first little area where these school buses are is where we drop oversized stuff. That way it's out of the way and we can still get trucks in here and turned around. These buses are yet to be processed, so they are next on the chopping block. And then once we get a little more busy and have more scrap coming in, we're going to use the rest of that property back there to set up some additional processing equipment like a stationary shear. So the rest of the scrap comes down here to where these two material handling cranes are. Our first couple bays here are our cast iron and our prepared steel. So if you have steel under 3 feet in length that's 100% clean, we'll drop it by this machine, and anything else that is bigger than that or that's contaminated like appliances or car bodies will come down here next to the Liebherr 922. So this middle bay here that's currently the most full is our unprepared steel that will actually go back to our main yard to be further processed. We'll run that through our shear there and then send it directly to the steel mill to be melted down to make new steel. And the rest of this stuff to the left in the last bay is our appliances, car bodies, or any other type of contaminated sheet type steel, and that all goes directly to an auto shredder who shreds it up, and then it's ready to be sent to the steel mills. And then if you have any non-ferrous metals, we are currently either loading them into these roll-off containers over here to be sent back to our main yard to be run through our baling operation, or bringing them into the warehouse and putting them into Gaylord boxes or on skids. And also most of this material is being sent back to our main yard to be paired with the material we're generating over there. So if you have non-ferrous, you back over here into this warehouse door, not quite all the way in, and we'd weigh your stuff on our platform scale, and then we'd put it in the corresponding bins. It's a little messy in here right now. All the guys were ready to go home on Friday afternoon, so this will get cleaned up Monday morning. But that's basically it for the scrap side of the yard over here. It's basically really simple. We're just separating it into the main categories and then sending it back to our main yard to be further processed, unless it's something like the shred material, which would go straight to the shredder. But let's go take a look down at the auto side of the yard and talk about what we got going on down there. So we've currently saved about 100 or 150 vehicles down here on the auto parts side of the yard. These are currently just being stored and the fluids drained out of them. And then in the next field over there behind that last row of cars, we own an additional roughly 4 acres. We got to get it fenced in and some gravel put down. And then we're going to put all of these vehicles in rows plus many more. We're estimating we'll have roughly 1,000 vehicles out there once it's completely full. And then we'll open an auto parts yard where people come in and pull their own parts. So you'll pay a low admission fee, maybe $1 or $2 to get in, and then whatever parts you pull off, you of course would pay for when you leave. But that's pretty much it. So we just use this rack down here to drain all the vehicles, and then like I said, we either save them to hopefully have the auto parts yard open in a couple months, or we send them back down there to where the material handlers are and process them further to go to the shredder. One really cool thing that's come in since we've been open over here is this 1970 F750 fire engine. I actually can't believe that somebody scrapped this thing because it's in immaculate shape for how old it is. The paint is in really good condition. There's hardly any rust or body damage. but I plan to do an update video on this thing soon, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see this thing try to start and run. So overall, things have been going really well. This has been a pretty unusual year as far as scrap prices are concerned. At the beginning of the year, we saw really high scrap prices, and now going into the middle of the year, we're starting to see prices that are really low. So unfortunately, that will slow us down a little bit, but during that downturn, we'll be able to focus on a lot of these other projects, like getting the car part side of the yard open. But that's pretty much all I've got in this update. I really want to thank you guys for watching this all the way through, and hopefully in a couple months, I'll have another update for you and show you what's changed. Thanks.